I wanted to walk you guys through my new updated Trello system, which is way different than my previous system because that previous system, it definitely had a lot more components to it. I had so many boards for every single one of my social medias like YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, my newsletter. There were so many boards to keep up with. And while it worked for a little while, I definitely think that now I created a much simpler system, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys today because this walkthrough, I'm going to show you guys how I simplified my Trello system and the changes I made to the system for not only my business, but my personal life. And a whole new workflow that's basically so much more simple. The only way for me to really express to you how easy and simple this new system is to basically give you a little walkthrough of what I've come up with. So this is my new and improved Trello planner for life and for business purposes. I created this system to really work for me and the stage that I'm in. There's no automations or anything like that. I didn't set it up that way because I truly don't feel like I need all of that. I just needed a simple system to get me to point A to B to C and to help me to maintain my business and my personal life so that way I can just stay on track. So I'm going to show you guys my computer and we're going to jump right into the walkthrough. This is the first page I see when I first log into Trello. So I only have 4 boards here. Those are just the recently viewed, same boards up here. I used to have a YouTube board, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, a newsletter, my brand foundations, my brand strategy, and then I had content pillars, content ideas all in one board. I think I at least had roughly 6, maybe 7 boards back then. I don't remember. And then even as I had grown, I was just creating more boards and it was just so much and so confusing. So now I have settled on just these 4 boards and I find that it works perfectly fine. I just started this system last month, but I already believe in it and know that it's working because I've already started to see results in me getting more things done. Even though I'm doing less, I'm already noticing that I'm getting more done. I think the biggest thing that really helped me to solidify that I needed a change in my systems was I went in to create a personal board for my self-care. And that's what really led me to think, well, how is all of this going to work with all of the other things that you're doing? And it still felt very overwhelming. So then I just started completely over again with everything. This YouTube board isn't going to work. This Pinterest board isn't going to work. The newsletter, none of it. All of it is just too much. And so that's what made me think maybe you need a whole new type of system that can truly all work together. No matter if you have 3 or 4 or 5 platforms and 2 or 3 different businesses, this should all be able to work together. And I think that I found that, and I think I did that. So when I first log into my Trello account, these are the 4 boards that you see. This is all it is now. It's just these 4 boards. So I have my home and self-care board. I have my content pillars and ideas board. And then my brand foundations board, which is for my business. All of the foundational stuff for my brand and for my business is in this one board. And then my weekly workflow. I have different tasks assigned in my business, and each day of the week there is a certain task assigned to a certain day. And I felt like this was way better than what I was doing before. And so it was much better to separate this workflow and let it have its own board. So home and self-care, content pillars and ideas, brand foundations, and my weekly workflow. So those are the only 4 boards that I currently have right now. So I thought we would start with the very first board that was not in my previous system before. So this one is my home and self-care board. I did not have this one in my first Trello video. It wasn't in my plan at all. But again, this was the one that really made me realize that I needed a personal system that I didn't have before. So this is what the entire board looks like. And I absolutely love how it looks. Side note, I must say that all of the pictures and everything that you see here, and even the background image that you see back here, you can definitely change these. It didn't come this way. I added these on my own and I got them off of Pinterest for personal use, of course. But if I was to sell them actually in a template, I wouldn't use these images just thought I'd let you guys know. So you're like, where do you get those aesthetic images from? I got these from Pinterest because I just wanted to use them for personal use. But anywho, so this was not in my first original Trello video, but the reason why I didn't have one of these is because I wasn't even thinking about it then. To be honest with you, I wasn't even thinking about it then. And I think that now that I'm really trying to work on my self-care and things like that, so I created this specific board to focus on home and self-care. So the first one I have is daily basics, non-negotiable things that I know that I want to get done every single day. A 15-minute shower, taking my medications. I don't have a thyroid, so I take my thyroid medications every single day. For the rest of my life, I will be taking those. So I thought that this was a good one to put right there from my daily non-negotiable is to take my medicine. So I would check it off when I'm done with it that I've taken my medicine for the day. So this year's goal, meaning 2026, what are the things that I want to get done? And a lot of these have to do with things around my house or whatever. So things that I want to fix, things that I want to decorate, things that I want to clean and declutter. I just went around my apartment and just seen what needs to actually get done. And then I just made an entire list of things like cleaning on top of the fridge. That's something that I really didn't think about. My boyfriend's mentioned it a few times too. You know what? Let's put that down as to one of the things that's going to get done this year. The reason why I didn't put it in this month, this week, or even today is because I don't know when I want to get to that specific thing because I have so many other things to do. But I know this year I'm going to get to that. So I thought it would be perfect in the this year spot. And then things that I want to get done this month, doing a fridge clean out because my fridge definitely needed a deep clean out, not just throwing away old foods, take everything out and clean the entire fridge. But those are the things that I know that I wanted to get done for the month. And then this week, things that I know that I do on a weekly basis go in this category. And also things that I want to get done this week go in this category. This week, I believe I want to decorate my shelves. Last week, I decluttered my shelves, and there will be a video about this. But this week, I want to actually decorate the shelves and sweeping the floor, taking out the trash every week. If I know that I'm going to take out the trash today, I'll just drag it over. I know that I'm going to sweep the floor, or if I know I'm going to do the dishes later today. And I try not to do too many things and too many tasks within a day, but this would be a good list, maybe 2 more things, 5 things tops. And then I will just check them off as I get done with them. And I could put them in the done, or I can move them back to this month or something like that and reset. It really doesn't matter. But things like this, I put in the done column because I don't need to declutter my shelves every single week or every single month. So I put them over here in the done because I'm actually done with those things. But if I was resetting for the week, I would just move this one back, sweeping the floors. I know that I'm going to do that one every week or every day or every other day or whatever. And then I have a grocery list. I put this one specifically for those moments where you go in the kitchen, you realize that you're out of something, especially. I think that it's so helpful to make a list of all the things when you notice that you're out of things, to just put it here automatically. Oh, I'm out of spaghetti sauce, or I'm out of bananas or bell peppers or something like that. We're definitely out of sugar. So I made sure to put that one on the list because I'm going to do a grocery pickup, but I order online first. So this is great for me to see when I'm ordering online. And the best part about this Trello system is too, you can view it on multiple different devices, like your tablet, your phone, your computer. So if I was shopping in the store, I could also take this with me in the store and I could just check it off from my phone. But I order my food while I'm at home, so I can easily just scroll through it and then check it off when I get that item. And I personally don't have many appointments, but I did put this one here for when I need to start going back to my doctor's appointments. I'm always mentioning my thyroid issues, but I also have PCOS. And I was recently diagnosed with fibromyalgia, even though I feel like they just didn't listen to me. But that's a whole nother story. So when I start having more doctor's appointments and things I have to go to, I will put them here, or any other type of appointments. So I thought it would be nice to add in appointments into this board. So in the last minute, I added that one in. But the best part about this too is you can add in anything that you want to add. All you have to do is just click add another list and then type in whatever it is. So let's just say, I'm going to just retype that one again. So let's say appointments. I can just hit that and then hit add a cart and say I have a doctor's appointment and then hit enter. And then I can add in more details by just clicking on it. So say I want to add the date and time next week. Let's say at 2:30, I have an appointment. So I can do that and then set a reminder for about 10 minutes beforehand, and it'll give me an alert that I have an appointment. And so there it is, and it's all set. So that's how you can add pretty much anything to the list that you want to add. And you can also drag and drop it into any of the list if you wanted to. And say I wanted to add a picture to this, all I would do is just type in whatever this list is about. So I would just type in something like appointment, and then I would click it. And then right here, it'll say cover image that I want to put in. You can really choose any one that you want. You can actually search for images, but I'll just click something that's right here for right now. Or you can actually just choose a color if you wanted to. So if I wanted to choose this image, I would just click on that image and then it's there. I can also make it a little bit bigger by choosing this one. And I believe that one, yep, and there we are. Then I can just move this up to the top of there, and then it has appointments. So it'll look like the rest of my list here. And you can change it to whatever one you want. You can find other images later on and make it your own and customize it however you want to customize it. But that is my home and self-care board. And this one has all of the foundational aspects of my entire brand. So I'm not just talking about my businesses that I have. I have two separate businesses. I have Gallery 713, which is my home decor and lifestyle brand. And then I also have the design studio, which will be open soon. And that's my service-based side of business where I offer one-to-one services and also like digital products about business and branding and things like that. This is not only based on those two individual businesses. This is the brand foundations, the Tamika Marie brand, and then also those two businesses. So I have the things that make up my brand and my business, basically. So my ideal customer, my mission statement, my vision statement, my brand story, and then I also have my brand values, my value proposition, my brand voice. All of these are the brand foundations that really make up the brand and business. So here, it basically walks through who my ideal customer is. And I believe I did how I found my target audience type of video. So all of that information that I had in that video is here too. So who my ideal customer is, what their age is, all of those things. I just put the written version here. And then I have my brand identity, which is basically all the things that make up the visual identity of my brand and business. So my brand colors, all the hex codes are right here. All the fonts that I chosen, I put them right here. And actually I need to update that. But all of my brand fonts go there. And then I have my content ecosystem, which I really had to get more clear on because again, I was doing YouTube, I was doing Pinterest, I was doing Instagram. I was trying to do all of these different things that really just weren't working for me. So I had to get clear on which ones do you actually want to do. And I knew for sure YouTube was a must. And I kept trying to do Instagram, but I just could not bring myself to do it. So I'm like, let's just focus on YouTube and do more on YouTube. So I'm even getting into the idea of doing YouTube short and posting more on my community tab and things like that. So I knew that I wanted to do YouTube. I'm getting back into my newsletter sometime within the next week. But I do have a newsletter, which I'll leave linked in the description box. And then Pinterest, basically taking all the things that I post about on YouTube, but turning that into short form video. So all of this long form video right here, cropping it down to meet that 9:16 ratio of short form video. So I'll just use an editor like CapCut or something like that and then crop it down so it'll fit on short form content like YouTube Shorts, Instagram if I wanted to do Instagram, and then Pinterest video pins. So that is now my new content ecosystem that I got going on. I'm actually going to do an updated video about my content ecosystem and how I really came to like this notion of it and how it actually works, the hierarchy of it. So look out for that video. And then I have here everything that goes on my Gallery 713 website, because again, I do have two businesses. So all of the pages that were on that website, I basically just copied and pasted all of it and then pasted it into my Trello board. And the reason for that is because if anything ever happens with my website or anything, or I want to change anything in the future, or I just want to look at it without having to actually go to my website, all of it is listed here. The home page, the about page, the sales page, my shipping and returns, all of those things, I have them here listed under one category. And the same thing with my service-based business, the design studio. That one also has its own, even though I'm filling that one up right now because I'm really working on this business right now. And then I have some product ideas that I wanted to do. These are mainly for Gallery 713 because these are all physical products that I eventually want to do. These are just ideas. They're not written in stone, but it's nice to just brainstorm and be able to do that. And I also need to make a service-based one of these because I also have service ideas that I want to do. So again, I would just go over here and I would do service. I always spell this wrong. Service-based ideas, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have an idea for another digital product like my brand guidelines where I show all of my colors, fonts, all of those things. So I would put brand guidelines. So that's a product idea that I want to do. So I could even do that. And then bring that over here. And so then I could just list out some product ideas for that. And even though I don't have anything listed here in the yearly, quarterly, monthly goal categories, it's because I really haven't truly thought about it yet. I made all these goals at the end of December. And then as soon as we hit January, I was like, that's not going to work for me. And so then I had to change all of those things. So that's why you see my yearly goals, my quarterly goals, and my monthly goals are kind of empty right now. And it's because I really want to just play it by ear and see right now. But I will leave these here. For the template, I'm going to leave these here. And if you don't want them, you can always just go here and then archive this list. And then it'll go away until you're ready to really come up with your yearly, quarterly, and monthly business goals. I can easily see all of my branding foundations at a glance. And also, if I ever decide to get a team or something like that, or even one or two other people working for me or a virtual assistant or something like that, I can share these things so easily with them and give them access to the board, and they can be able to see these things too. And then that way everybody's on the same page. Now, this one is my content pillars and my content ideas board. Now, I decided that I'm going to now just focus on 4 content pillars because every time I try to do 5, it just never works out. And especially if you're on YouTube, it works out perfectly to have 4 main topics at least. If you're doing YouTube, say once a week, which is normally what people do, is about 4, they do 1 post a week. So if you have 4 content pillars, you get to talk about that one specific topic for the week. So I have my intentional self-care and well-being journey, which I'm getting into talking about this one a little bit more. So I talk about mindset shift that I have, reframing thoughts, talking about perfectionism, reprogramming limiting beliefs and things like that. So it's not only that, I also will show my health journey, my wellness journey. I have plans on wanting to lose weight this year. So I want to share some of that. So all of that goes into this one content pillar. And then setting up my branding business. So talking about the behind the scenes, the creative process of it, the systems and tools that I use, doing videos like this, like walkthrough videos. That's what I do for this pillar. So things like my Trello boards, for example, all goes in this one pillar. And I highly suggest if you don't have content pillars for your branding business, this will make it so much easier to do versus just randomly, willy-nilly trying to come up with content ideas. This is so much more helpful to have these basic content pillars that you can focus on so you're not feeling like all over the place. You have a content pillar and then some subcategories of topics that you could really focus on within that pillar. So say, for example, you do fitness or something like that, then maybe you would post nutritional videos, workout videos, and you could even get really specific, easy meals or something like that, or different types of healthy drinks and healthy juices that you make and you do the recipes for them. And they can even be simple so that way you can actually do them every single week. Or different coffees or something like that. You go around and you're testing different coffees around your city or different states or something like that. Or you can have packaging videos if you're showing the behind the scenes of your branding business. So that could be underneath behind the scenes, but maybe it's like packaging videos is one of your subcategories. And then maybe actually making the stuff. So maybe if you're like a candle maker, then you have videos where you actually make candles, and that's and it could be a vlog, but it doesn't have to only be about candle making, but that's the core topic around that pillar or that subcategory is that you're actually focused on making candles. As long as I'm doing that and I'm showing my process of me making candles, I can also show other things around that. I can create other content ideas outside of these things, which is why I have a brainstorming category over here. Any ideas that I just come up with off the top of my head, I dump them here in the brainstorming content ideas. And so that's the content pillars and ideas. And I think with my previous one, this one was really chaotic because I had all the content pillars stacked in one, and then I had my weekly workflow. So it would say like all the content pillars in one list. But now I think this is so much better with separating the content pillars and then just having one for brainstorming content ideas. And then for my last board, instead of having all of that on that one board, I basically put my workflow into one board. And even though my workflow was working, I was actually trying my best to stick to that workflow, but I feel like this workflow is even better. And of course, the difference is now I'm not individually trying to say, well, I write on Tuesdays for my newsletter, or I edit my YouTube videos on Wednesday, but I'm leaving out a whole host of other things. I'm leaving out editing my newsletter if I'm focused on just editing my YouTube videos. So I feel like with this new system, it's not just focused on one platform, it's focused on the entire content ecosystem. So I now start with YouTube because YouTube is my main platform. So what do? I record one video a week, and it's based off one of those content pillars that I showed in the previous clip. So I record one long form video and it focuses on that week's specific content pillar. I then take 3 to 5 photos for my thumbnails, for the community tab, for my newsletter or anything like that. And that's what I do on Sundays. It's kind of the content shoot day. And Sundays works for me because I have the whole day, because my boyfriend goes to work pretty early on Sundays. And then he gets off early, but he's at work pretty early on Sundays. So that way I have even more time to film and get everything done. So Sundays actually works for me to have my filming and my content creation day be on Sunday. And then on Monday, it's kind of a lower energy day for me. I realized Monday started to feel like a very low energy kind of day for me. Instead of just saying newsletter and titles, it used to just say admin up there. And what does that actually mean? Admin of what are you doing in this day? So it is a low energy day, but I'm doing things that are low energy. So instead of just saying I'm going to start editing my YouTube video that I just did Sunday, instead I'm just going to upload the footage into my editing software. I'm not editing it, I'm just putting all the footage and moving it from my phone into the editing software. And then I'm finalizing all the YouTube titles and the tags, description, and the thumbnail design because I've already taken pictures on Sunday. So I already have the pictures then to put on the thumbnail. These are things that I can do while I'm just sitting and laying around on the couch because it is a lower energy day for me. And then I'm drafting the heart of my newsletter on Monday. So I'm not writing the entire newsletter. I'm kind of getting a rough outline of it and drafting most of the newsletter. It doesn't mean I have to write the entire thing. And then on Tuesdays is my writing day. So then I'm writing and I'm proofreading the newsletter. I'm finalizing it and I'm scheduling it out. I do have Flowdesk here, but I've actually canceled my Flowdesk for a while, but I'll explain that in an upcoming video. Still love Flowdesk, by the way, but I did cancel my Flowdesk because it was just expensive and I don't have that many subscribers. But again, I'll talk about that in an upcoming video later. And then I'm also doing all the rough cuts to the YouTube video. So this is when I start cutting out all the big chunks, all the ums, the ahs, and all that pausing and all those things, which I do use CapCut to transcribe my videos now. So it's not as hard to do that anymore. It doesn't take me as long to edit anymore because of I use CapCut and the transcribe feature. And also if I don't use that, then I will use, I believe it's called Riverside. Riverside can also transcribe your entire video. So it just really helps me with edit much faster than I used to edit. And then I have my editing day. So this is where I do adding all the music, the sound effects, the transitions into my YouTube videos, and really just like tidying everything up there. And then Thursdays, I do short form content. So this is all of my YouTube shorts. And then I basically take those shorts that I've done for YouTube and then I put those onto Pinterest. I also take my thumbnails or anything like that and then I will put them onto Pinterest. And then any images that I've also taken on Sunday and I want to use for my community tab, just making it look a little bit more aesthetic. And so I can also add those pictures to the community tab. So that's what I do on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, I'm scheduling my long form YouTube video to go up on Sunday. I'm scheduling the 3 shorts from each video every week. I'm scheduling the community tab posts, the Pinterest pins, all of that gets scheduled on Friday. And on Saturdays, I rest because there has to be one rest day in here. Now, I didn't have to put rest here, but I think it's nice to just see it as a reminder. And I just thought it looked weird to not have Saturday right there. So it does say rest day on a Saturday, and I don't really put anything right there, but I like it to keep the aesthetic of the week there. But then after I'm done with everything goes here in the done. Each video goes here in the done. So like my last video, how I found my target audience, all of the description box that I came up with, I put it here. All the links and everything to that video are under here. The thumbnails, all of that goes here. And then once I'm done, I hit check. And then all the community tab notes, which I still got to post this one, by the way, because we hit 50 subscribers. But all the community tab notes will go there. And then when I'm also done with those, then I also check those off. So that's kind of how the weekly workflow goes now. And it's so much easier. And I don't know if you can see, but it wasn't just a focus on one social media platform now. I'm writing for all the platforms. If I'm editing for everything, if I'm creating short form content, I'm creating for all platforms that can do short form content. No longer is it just one thing, everything working together now. And I absolutely love that. And so it's getting really dark in here. I didn't realize how dark it was actually getting in here, but it's such an easier system, such an easier plan. I absolutely love this. And I'm just so glad that I could come up with something that's actually going to help me not only in my business, but also in my personal life, because that was something that I did not have in the beginning, was a personal pillar as well, so I can get things done around my house. I've been trying to clean these shelves in my living room, declutter them and decorate them. I've been trying to do that forever. And then I put them in my list and I actually got it done, and really it all worked out and I'm just so happy. So on February 10th, I will be launching my Trello planner system. It's a Trello planner for life and business. It doesn't matter if you're a service-based business, a content creator, product-based business, or a service-based business. If you want to get my Trello planner system, I will be launching it on February 10th. That's when my design studio business goes live, and it'll be up on the website and you can purchase the template there. It's going to come in a PDF, but it'll explain it all and it'll be super simple. There will be a button for you to just hit each board and click copy and paste it into your own Trello workspace. I don't want you guys to have to archive all of my list of stuff, so don't be surprised if you don't see my full grocery list or anything in there, because I don't think you guys need my grocery list, but I'll leave 1 or 2 things in there to refresh your memory about this video so you guys can see what to actually put in each spot. But don't worry, I won't leave a long list of all of my stuff in there, so you don't have to bother archiving all of those things. But everything else will be the same. You guys will get all 4 of the boards and all of those categories that are in the boards. Oh, and the only other thing that will be different again is that the images might look a little bit different, because I personally took these from Pinterest, and you can use Pinterest personally, but you can't sell those. But I am going to put some royalty-free images in there, so if they look a little bit different, that's why. But other than that, everything else is going to be the same. Let me know down in the comments if this was helpful. I thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video, and I'll talk to you soon.